Hello, everybody. Just another issue of my video blog tonight. Um, I've had some input from a few of my Tumblr followers with who have helped me out with this one. And one of the things I was asked was to talk about my sort of inspirations, and they sort of mentioned potentially writers, films, and bands that have inspired me. And to be honest, nothing like that has ever really inspired me. I'm not really artistic. I've always tended to be more of an academic than an artist. So, inspiration for what exactly? When it comes to things like music and the media, I've never really had great inspiration there. But I'd say the biggest sort of like influence on the way that I am as a person is probably when after my mother died. Back then I wasn't a particularly nice person. I wasn't an evil person, but I wasn't the same guy that I am today. And I was a lot more selfish. And after Mum died, I did a lot of things that I'm not particularly proud of. But eventually, when I came close to losing everything, I realised that I needed to turn everything around. And it was sort of Mum's death that inspired me to do that. I was never able to help my own mother towards the end when she was really ill and I couldn't save her. So I've always tended to have this sort of like saviour complex since, where I feel the need to save everybody and just sort of like help as many people as I can, as if that's like going to make up for the fact that I couldn't help my own mother. So I worked for 2 years in a nursing home, actually looking after people's mothers, grandmothers, aunties, etc. Because I was never given that chance to do that for my mother. And I guess, I feel like I'm kind of making up for the things that I did wrong in the past, and the things I wasn't able to do for other people then. And I kind of get more to satisfaction. So it's quite selfish in a way because I get a really good buzz and a really good feeling from helping people. So it's not, so I guess those are kind of my inspirations really, rather than say any particular writer, film, or anything musical. Although music has been really important to me over the last few years because it's been my one constant. With everything that's changed over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, music's been the only thing that's been there for me constantly, and it's sort of kept me sane. So I suppose that's quite inspirational, I guess. Another one of my Tumblr friends asked me to talk about bloggers that I'd fuck. So I wrote back to her asking her to sort of clarify what she meant by that. I'm going to guess she never got back to me, so I'm going to guess. I'll just have a quick check to see if she's got back to me since. I'm going to guess, she means, are there any of my followers, people that I'm following, are there any of those in particular that I would like to fuck? Well, in short, realistically, not really. There's only one person that I realistically want to fuck. She is on Tumblr, but I've always promised to keep her out of these video messages for several reasons. So I won't name names or even give you any URLs. I'm just going to leave it there. But I'm going to reinterpret that question because I think it's quite crass, and I'm going to just sort of modify it a little bit and talk about the people that I find the most sexually attractive. I'm not saying I'd necessarily sleep with them, but they're the people that I find most sexually attractive. First of all, I'm going to start with my friend Jamie, who can be found under the URL Beard of Socko. He is a great guy. That's why I find him sexually appealing. And he has the most manly beard and the most glorious long hair you will ever see. He's only 18 years old, and I met him when he was 16, and he had the most glorious beard then. So that's how manly he is. He had a glorious full beard at 16 years of age. And that makes him very sexy. And he's a nice guy as well. So another one I would say is her name's Emma, and she's under the URL Show Me Your Titch. And she's actually a model for Front magazine. I don't know if she's done any other modelling, I'm not going to lie, but that's where I know her from. Like, I don't like know her, but that's where I know of her from. So yeah, Show Me Your Titch. Then there's Bitch Tits, and that's her URL. She's the one that actually asked me this question. I think I would have sex with her because, well, I find her sexually attractive because this is going to sound a little bit racist, but I've never really found women who aren't white attractive. That's not because I'm a racist person in general. I have lots of friends of different descents and from different cultures, but I've never really been attracted to any of them. I think she's based in Texas most of the time, this girl, but she's of a Middle Eastern background. I think she's an attractive young woman, so I would say her. Then we've got I'm on a Rocket Ship, who is a very attractive redhead. Too Sexy for My Shirt, who is a Brazilian girl who is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, she's absolutely stunning. If I could show you a picture of her now, I would. But she's absolutely stunning. And yeah, and she's Brazilian as well. Again, I've never been with a Brazilian. I've never really been attracted to South Americans. She's an exception. Who else is there? There's Gunther Central Perk. I know she has a boyfriend. I wouldn't do anything anyway, but she's absolutely adorable. I find her very attractive. Remove Your Crown. She's also very attractive. There's an American model called Karina Lee. Her URL is Karina T. Lee. She's a redhead at the moment. I believe she's planning to go brunette. She's a beautiful girl. I Am Holly Ann, who's also a redhead from London, I think. And Cloversaw. I think Cloversaw's relatively well known on Tumblr actually, but she looks a bit like Lights actually. She's very attractive. And also my friend Lily. I can't remember her URL now. I'm not going to go searching through Tumblr for her, but I think it's like Lily May. I think her URL is Lily May or something like that. She is one of the most beautiful people I have ever seen. I've never actually met her, but we've kind of been online friends for a few years now. So yeah, she's another one. She's got a boyfriend. Like a few of these have got boyfriends that I know of, so I would never actively chase them. But they're women whose physicalities I appreciate. So it's quite embarrassing. There's a few others that I may have included in that list, but I don't want to sort of mention them. I don't want to embarrass them. I don't really want to embarrass myself. I don't want to make things awkward between us and them. And like I said, the only person I genuinely want to sleep with, I can't mention anyway because I promised I wouldn't on these things. And those of you that know me and are watching this know who that is anyway. So. And finally, I had an anonymous before I was put out a request for topics and things I could discuss. Sent me an anonymous asking me why I preferred bums to boobs. Now, anyone that's familiar with my blog or knows me in person knows that I am an ass man. I love bums. Again, I haven't got anything against boobs. I'm just going to set that straight now. Of course, I love boobs. It doesn't matter. I've been on the whole spectrum. I've been with women that have literally nothing there. They might as well be. This is going to sound really weird. They might as well be a 10-year-old boy. That's not an insult. It's just stating, a truth. They're very flat-chested. all the way up to girls that have had, ginormous boobs the size of your head. So I've been with a good range, and I've never really been much of a boob person. I've always been a bottom person. Um, and they're basically asking me why. Answer is this: why do you find the people that you find attractive? If you're a gay guy, why do you find other guys attractive? If you're a gay woman, why do you find other women attractive? If you're straight, why do you find the opposite sex attractive? It's just the way that you're wired. Long the debate has raged of nature versus nurture. How much of it is environment and how much of it is innate. Is it? I think when it comes to bums, a large part of that is innate. If you look at it from an evolutionary point of view, those of you that are watching this that are devout Christians and that think we've only existed for 4,000 years or whatever, look away now, because you're probably not going to like me discussing the evolutionary factors behind it. But before we were fully evolved Homo sapiens, we had sex in the missionary position, and so that means the bottom was very much the focus of the man's stimuli. That's the thing that he saw. That's the thing that he was reminded him. Bottoms remind you of sex because of their position during sex, and that kind of thing has been ingrained in our DNA and has been passed down, as man has developed. It serves an evolutionary purpose, and then boobs became attractive, or breasts, tits, whatever you want to call them, became attractive because as we evolved and we became upright walkers permanently, and sex evolved as well. It became essential for us to be attracted to other parts of the body other than just the bottom. So large breasts became attractive because apparently, and you can see this, a pair of breasts, cleavage pushed together, resembles bottom cleavage. We saw on RudeTube earlier, the TV show. They had a picture of what led you to believe was a pair of women's breasts in a bra, and it actually turned out to be a man's bottom in a bra. So breasts and bottoms, when looked at certain angles, do resemble each other, and that's sort of like how it's carried on. I think there's a certain amount of environment involved as well. Like when I first became properly sexually active, the girl I was with didn't have impressive boobs. They weren't awful. I would never say anyone's breasts were particularly awful, but they were nothing to write home about. But she had a big round bottom, and so like a lot of my early sexual experiences were associated with a big round bottom. And then my two other main girlfriends that I've had since then have both had round bottoms. The first of them, the next two, did have a fantastic set of breasts as well. And, I did go through a phase where they were quite important. But on the whole, bottoms have always been the more attractive feature in the women that I've been with. So I'm guessing that sort of element of the environment has been there. Again, it's linked in with the. I've probably found our bottoms more attractive again because of this evolutionary. We're programmed to find bottoms and boobs attractive because it goes back to when we were less evolved. Although I don't think that all of us have quite evolved. You may say that about me. So there we go. Quite a boring answer, I'm afraid. I don't really have any particular stories that have shied me away from breasts and that have pulled me towards bottoms. It's just, just my sexual preference. It's the same with anyone. We all have certain things that we find attractive in other people. There's not always necessarily a reason or a rhyme. It's just the way that we're wired. And I think that's probably just the way it is. I find bottoms attractive, more attractive than breasts, because I just do. The same way that I find blondes in general less attractive than I do, say, brunettes or redheads. So there we go. I didn't waffle on about crap in my life, which is probably just as well because it's quite boring. Um, I think the next one I make, I might well have more to actually talk about from my own personal life. So um, you're in for a boring treat. I don't know how many of you will actually watch this, but I don't really care. Um, take care of yourselves, and I love every single person that watches these. Whether you're a first-time viewer or a regular one, I love you all. And I welcome interaction. Feel free to stop by my Tumblr if you know the URL. Feel free to leave me comments. I don't mind either way. So I will see you next time. Bye.